Welcome to the Man United stream, your daily dose of all the Manchester United news and opinion. If you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe so you can keep up to date with all the breaking Manchester United news and opinions. We have a jam-packed show for you today and there's lots to talk about, lots been going on, and there's lots of news and reports coming out about Manchester United. In today's show, we're going to be discussing Gravenberch to United, we're going to be talking about Amrabat, we're going to be talking about Varan leaving for Saudi Arabia, we're also going to be talking about the Greenwood announcement possibly coming today. We'll discuss Pavard very close to joining Inter Milan, and we'll also look at Maguire, Henderson, Martial and Donny van de Beek. It's going to be a busy couple of weeks for Manchester United. United have 2 games left against Nottingham Forest and Arsenal before the international break kicks in. Why you would have an international break so early on in the season is beyond me. Players are just about settling in and then they've got to leave for an international break. In my personal opinion, they need to scrap this international break and give the players time and the fans time just to enjoy the Premier League. Let us know your thoughts on the international break. Do you think it's too early in the season, or do you think it's fine and the players get a bit of a rest from the Premier League? By the way, if you're new to the channel and you've not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button so you can help us get to the 5,000 mark for subscribers. And if you're a Manchester United fan, it is a must, so hit that subscribe button. Okay, so there's been several reports from yesterday and today coming out that Ryan Gravenberch, the Bayern Munich midfielder, could be open to joining Manchester United on a season-long loan. I believe around a week ago we discussed Gravenberch alongside Leon Goretzka and how both these players are not in Thomas Tuchel's long-term plans this season. Bayern Munich, let's be honest, have got a huge selection of top defensive midfielders to choose from, but they can only play 2 at a time on the pitch, and that is why players like Ryan Gravenberch and Leon Goretzka might find themselves sitting on the bench more than they play this season. It's Bayern's call, however, if they will be willing to let Gravenberch leave on a season-long loan. It does make sense for him to be allowed to go and play for another club and get some game time. Gravenberch is a young footballer who needs regular game time, and going out to a club like Manchester United would be very beneficial for Gravenberch and Bayern in the long term. We also have that link with Ten Hag and Gravenberch at Ajax. Gravenberch actually did really well under Ten Hag and became a really good player. But United are not the only club after Gravenberch. Our friends Liverpool FC are also closely monitoring the situation with Gravenberch and will be in touch with Bayern Munich if there's a possible loan move on for him coming to Liverpool. Liverpool did sign Endo, the Japanese player, last week. However, they still need to fill a few more spots in that midfield to fill up the gaps left by Henderson and Fabinho. So I think Gravenberch will be a key player for Liverpool as well if they can get him. So Manchester United will not have an easy time trying to sign Gravenberch even on a loan, because Liverpool will be there trying to do the same thing. But I hear you asking the same question which I've been asking, which is, what about Amrabat? What about Sofyan Amrabat, who we have been working on for a long time? He's agreed personal terms, he wants to come to Manchester United, so why are we not going to go for Sofyan Amrabat? I'm really concerned about this because I don't want Manchester United to make the same mistake Liverpool did with Lavea and how they went off to try and sign Caicedo and then they lost out on Lavea as well. I don't want United to go after Gravenberch and then end up losing Amrabat. I'd rather them secure Amrabat services first and then look to go after Gravenberch if they need to. I get this really funny feeling that if Manchester United go and approach Gravenberch and try and sign him, Liverpool might go and try and sign Amrabat and might actually go and get him instead of us. And that will be a really bad move by Manchester United, because I think Amrabat has a lot more to offer than Gravenberch. Yes, Gravenberch is better carrying the ball forward, but I still believe Amrabat is more committed to Manchester United and we need to bring in more players that actually want to play for Manchester United. Amrabat wants to play for Manchester United. We already know that. He's already rejected so many clubs and so many offers, so we need to bring Amrabat in because he will be a lot more committed to Manchester United than any other player right now. And the other thing that we need to worry about is Bayern Munich itself. Bayern Munich is a really tricky club to deal with. They're not always open to moves like this, and they might not allow Gravenberch to move on loan, so therefore we could be wasting our time going after Gravenberch when we've got someone sat there waiting to make the move and we're not doing it. And it is worrying because the Glazers might prefer the cheaper option of bringing in Gravenberch on loan rather than going and signing another player like Amrabat for 35 to 30 million. But we'll keep a close eye on this. The situation is changing hour by hour. We're hearing new news every hour. So let's wait and see what happens with the Gravenberch deal. Are Bayern willing to send him out on loan? And that is the biggest question right now. We're waiting to hear from Bayern. And if anything does break, we'll let you know. Moving on from Gravenberch, we are hearing that Varan could end up joining Saudi club Al Ittihad. This is breaking news, so we're yet to hear the finer details of this deal, but we are hearing that Varan could be open to a move to Saudi and might be looking to accept an offer made by Al Ittihad. We're yet to hear if Varan would like to move to Saudi, and that is the biggest question. I think if an offer does come in, Manchester United will cash out on Varan and sell him. I'm not sure if Varan would like to move to Saudi Arabia, but if he does, I think Manchester United need to think about this carefully and need to cash in on this deal if they can. It'll be a lot of money. They can take that money and go and buy someone like Todibo as a like-for-like replacement. Let us know your thoughts on this. Do you think this is a good deal for Manchester United? Do you think if an offer does come in for Varan that we should sell him, or do you think we should hold on to him? The real worry is that if Varan does end up leaving, will Manchester United be able to replace him in time? We're hearing that Pavard is very close to joining Inter Milan, and therefore that does not look like an option. So Todibo is the only option, and we are hearing that Manchester United have kept the door open on that deal with Todibo. So if that does require a last minute move, Manchester United will be ready to make that move. But the scary thought did cross my mind. If we can't replace Varan, would Harry Maguire make it back into the first 11? Without a shadow of a doubt, Varan, when he's on form, he is one of the best defenders in the world, but he is injury prone. We know that, and we know that he struggles to play a lot of games back to back, and he needs rest in between games. So I think personally Manchester United should cash out on him and then go and buy someone younger. We're also getting reports that today could be the day that Manchester United make an announcement on Mason Greenwood and whether he stays at Manchester United or leaves. There have been leaks in the last couple of days suggesting that Man United will make a complete U-turn on the Mason Greenwood issue. From the statement released last week by Manchester United and Richard Arnold, the CEO of Manchester United, it did appear that Manchester United were readying Mason Greenwood to return to Manchester United and the squad very soon. However, there was a huge backlash from last week's statement on Mason Greenwood by the fans and not having him return to the Manchester United squad. For me, it always goes back to the Glazers, and in this case it leads all the way back to the Glazers, who must have instructed Richard Arnold to keep Mason Greenwood at Manchester United and save on buying another striker for Ten Hag, and they could just simply offer Mason Greenwood to Ten Hag and say, you've got a new striker here. But the outcry and the backlash since the announcement last week has made the Glazers rethink the decision on Mason Greenwood, and it looks like that they're going to make a complete U-turn and block him from returning to Manchester United. What do you make of all the Mason Greenwood issue? It is a sensitive issue and it's really hard to decide which way to go. However, I've been saying this from day one that they shouldn't allow Mason Greenwood back into the club. It's too much of a contentious issue. It divides fans, and that's not what we need right now. We need everyone united and united against getting the Glazers out. So we don't want the fan base divided in opinion over Mason Greenwood. Moving on though, we just discussed the Benjamin Pavard deal to Inter. Yes, it looks like that Manchester United have missed out on Benjamin Pavard because of the whole Harry Maguire situation and how he wants to stay on at Manchester United. Unless he's paid off the rest of his salary for his contract, he's not leaving Manchester United, and because of that, Pavard looks like he's decided to go to Inter instead and not join Manchester United. It's not good news, but I wasn't 100% convinced on Pavard either, so I'm not too disheartened by this whole thing. The thought of having Maguire sat there offering no option to Ten Hag wasn't good, and Pavard would have been a better situation than Maguire, and that's why I did think, okay, if we can get Pavard in, it's better than having Harry Maguire sat there. But I think it's more than likely if Varan does leave, Manchester United will make a move for Todibo. I've been telling you for weeks to expect fireworks in this transfer window. With the whole Saudi involvement, I think the whole transfer window so far has been absolutely crazy with the amount of players moving. As we get closer to the deadline, we're going to see a lot of players moving from club to club. It's going to be hectic and it is going to be crazy. The Saudis have a huge transfer budget and I don't think they've gone through it all yet, and I'm expecting big moves to take place near the end of the transfer window. Finally, we're hearing about Dean Henderson leaving Manchester United, which is good news. Manchester United finally can get rid of Dean Henderson and look to buy a replacement goalkeeper. That's good news. We're also hearing that Donny van de Beek could be leaving Manchester United. We've been hearing that for weeks now, but it seems like he struggles to agree personal terms with teams. Van de Beek was in talks with Real Sociedad a few weeks ago over personal terms, but that broke down and that deal did not happen. I believe the sticking point in his personal terms is his salary. He's on a higher salary at Manchester United and I don't think any clubs are willing to agree that amount of salary. But we'll keep on top of all the reports and let you know what is going on with any of the transfers out of Manchester United. There's also talk of Martial being subject to an offer from a Saudi club, but let's wait and see. Nothing concrete has been received on Martial. No reports have come out on what's going on with Martial. I believe that Manchester United, if an offer does come in, will sell Anthony Martial. So let's wait and see. We'll keep on top of all the transfer news in the last 2 weeks. It is going to get hectic. It is going to get busy. Manchester United will be signing new players. We do know that. I believe there's at least 3 players that Manchester United will be going after. A centre-back, a midfielder and possibly a striker. I'm hoping that a striker does come in before the transfer window closes because Manchester United desperately need a striker. I know we've got Højlund, but I think we need another striker in as well. So let's see. Fingers crossed Man United can go out there in the last 2 weeks and make some serious signings and hopefully strengthen our squad. If you were betting on who Manchester United might bring in the last 2 weeks, which 2 players do you think Manchester United are more than likely sign in the last 2 weeks of the transfer window? Let us know. Drop your comments below. It's going to be a busy 2 weeks of the transfer window. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be hectic, but we will love every second of it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you keep up to date with all the news. Enjoy the rest of your day and we'll catch you later. You are watching the Man United stream, a channel by the fans for the fans. Goodbye.